So often, we leave ourselves behind in the pursuit of this world. The acknowledgement, acceptance, and love of our true core self is rarely present, but it is the order of the day. Hi, my name is Asia, but you can call me Mawaya. And Mawaya stands for Meet You Where You Are. And in this space, I want you to be able to look at yourself without fear, without hate, and without judgment. Transform the inside so as to transform your outside. Let's get it in. Okay, so as I'm trying to find a topic to discuss this week, I'm just, looking at Reddit, trying to get some inspiration. And of course, I get onto a thread that is talking about relationships. How fitting, because we're still in the month of February, and why not? And so this person is asking a question about a cycle that he is in with his girlfriend, I think maybe ex at this point. And so I'm going to kind of read a little bit for you, and then we're going to dive into it. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a pretty long post, but basically the crux of it is that he's in an on and off cycle again, over and over again with his girlfriend, breaks up, goes back. His girlfriend is overall pessimistic, according to him. She has high expectations for life, but doesn't do the things necessary to achieve them. And he's in the mindset of he wants to, buy a home at this point and wants to start his family. And she is, she's just not there. So she gave him an ultimatum saying that if he's not able to get the house, because she lives by herself, I guess, and he lives with his parents currently. And so she's saying, if he doesn't get the house, then she's pretty much going to end the relationship. And so he says, with her ultimatum, I ended things. I've lost my friends as a result of this relationship, and I felt I was giving everything I have and not getting anything in return. All I want is equal effort, not equal input. Problem is, I've convinced myself to go back before due to loneliness, especially without my friends. How do I walk away for good? So this is indicative of an insanity loop, and insanity loops are very easy to spot when we're talking about relationships, because it is just kind of crazy how our emotions and our care for someone, keeps us in this never-ending cycle. And so I did do a YouTube video on breaking down the whole structure of an insanity loop and how we get into insanity loops, and then how do we exit the insanity loop. So in his case, he's in an on and off again relationship. I know other people can relate. You have the love of that person in your heart, but the practical things, the things that is necessary to make the relationship work, is not there. And, this just goes to show that, love, as much as we love to think that love conquers all, it, in this world, in this 3D world where life is practical and there are things outside of emotions and feelings that have to be tackled, love becomes not enough. In some cases, it becomes a mechanism to continue toxic situations, or situations that will keep you from reaching your goals. And that kind of sucks, right? That kind of sucks to think about, because love feels really good. It feels very fulfilling. When you find that person that you want to give your heart to, it's such a good feeling, and it keeps us chasing that feeling. And so in the case of this guy, he wants to know, how does he walk away for good? So the first good thing that he's done is realizing that is a cycle. That is the first step to breaking any type of insanity loop, is to realize that you've been in a loop. Because like I said on the video, check it out on YouTube. Like I said on the video, if you can't see it as a loop, you'll never exit. If you don't see that you're in a cycle, you'll never exit the cycle, because you think that you're doing new things all the time. You don't realize that you're getting the same result, and sometimes you don't even realize that you're getting the same result because of the same exact BS that's going on. So you have to recognize that you are actually in a cycle, and that is tough to admit sometimes. So he's already done the first step, which is really good. The second step is, looking at what he actually values. So he seems to value companionship, the loneliness. And the way I know this is because the loneliness is what keeps bringing him back into the relationship, the toxic relationship. His loneliness is not his love for her. It's not his care about the relationship. It's not his own self-love. It's his loneliness. So that takes a lot of honesty, because he could easily put the blame on her, saying like he wants to look out for her, he wants to protect her, he wants to try to make it work. But no, he said it's his loneliness, which is one, selfish, but I get it. We have to soothe our wounds, and you do it through other people. So he values companionship in this case. He doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't have any friends, and it's kind of sad, but he lost his friends due to this relationship. So he feels like he has nothing left to go on but to go back to the relationship that caused him to be lonely in the first place. And that's unfortunate, So loneliness is a great, or being able to identify that it is loneliness that brings him back to a relationship is really, really good. So if he values companionship, then this gives you an indication on what you should do next. Because once you know what you value, you'll know how to choose wisely when you're exiting the loop. So, he has to go through his cycle again. He's lonely. He goes back to her. He feels fulfilled again. He feels less lonely, which it gives him a little dopamine high, until the next realization comes that, oh, she's not serious about our future. She's not saving. She says she wants these things, but she really doesn't want to do anything to be a partner in this relationship, which is what I require. So once he gets to that emotional low state again, he'll have another opportunity to really put this into practice. Because once he gets to a low emotional state, realizing that he made a mistake again, going back to the relationship, knowing that it's his loneliness that's causing him to go back to the relationship, he can now figure out ways to combat his loneliness. The most permanent way, but also the hardest way, is to learn to love yourself so deeply that you don't have this void inside of you that you're constantly trying to fill with other people and activities and things like that. So that is a permanent solution. But most people, I would say majority of people, are not there. So that's why, you have friendships, you have billions of people on this planet to help reach your companionship goals. So now, as he's in the relationship or he's exiting the relationship, he needs to focus on garnishing friendships again. And maybe the door is closed to his old friendships. And so that's, I'm making an assumption there. I don't really know. But let's say the worst case scenario, he can't go back to those old friends that he had, and he must start from scratch. You can always start with family if there is, if you know that you have people in your family that do care about you. Maybe you dismissed them or you took them for granted because you're in a relationship, and we just tend to take for granted the love that we think should be there always. And you go towards those relationships because those are real human beings who love you, and they would love for you to be a part of their lives and acknowledge that that they love you and that you love them too. So it becomes a give and take relationship. So going back to family members that you have that with, maybe a cousin, maybe a sibling, could be your parents, could be an aunt or uncle, could be a niece or nephew, so who identify those closest to you and easiest for you to reconnect to. Now, as far as like friendships and gathering friendships, it's hard in adulthood, y'all. Like, it's hard to keep friendships and create friendships because everybody's guarded. At least that's what I've noticed. Everybody's guarded and they don't want to be hurt. And, the whole idea of no new friends. You got to show me your loyalty. and all that. It's difficult to make friendships in adulthood. So, but you got to put yourself out there. Just try to meet new people. And if you're not there yet, like say you lack confidence, maybe you don't like social situations, but you feel lonely, then you have some internal work to do. But these are the avenues that you, in his case, because loneliness is what's bringing him back, these are the avenues that he should start exploring. Now there's work to be done in between those spaces, so it's not just as easy as like go make friends, go reconnect with your family, but those are the end goals. So in between those spaces is going to be, working through your self-worth and feeling confident enough that you deserve friendships. Maybe he feels very shitty that he allowed his friendships to dwindle in response to being in this relationship that didn't work out anyway. So he might feel guilt. He might feel like he's not worthy of friendships, so there is work that needs to be done in the between spaces. And that's where you take the time to be alone to figure that out. Because once you figure out that you have work to do on yourself, you don't want to go back into a relationship. At least for a lot of people that's really serious about improving their lives and improving their relationship with themselves. It's like, I don't even want to be in a relationship right now because I need to figure out me. I need to figure out who I am so I don't repeat the same patterns. I don't go back into a codependency. I'm not looking for other people to fulfill my needs. So, sometimes that becomes a catalyst to stay out of the relationship while you work on creating healthier connections in your life, so that loneliness is no longer a motivating factor to just settle for the lowest common denominator. So, and then once he makes that decision to use these, suggestions, use these techniques, use these avenues to keep himself out of the loop, he can't go back to that relationship. You have to put it into it. You got to be sick and tired of what the cycle that has been. It can't be the way it was. And if she's not changing, then it will be the way it is. And you would just be completely uncomfortable if you go back. So you don't go back. Don't look back. Trust your decision. Trust the reason why you left in the first place. And continue to work on yourself until you're strong enough inside yourself to reconnect, maybe start a new relationship, go on dates and things like that. But it is a process. And but he already got the first step. He's already got the first step, which is awareness. You can't unsee what you've now seen. So kudos on you. But this does speak to a bigger issue of the amount of work that it takes to actually exit these loops, because they're not just clear cut and dry. We have so much going on in our lives outside of just improving our own relationships to ourselves. We got to maintain our bills. We got to, worry about environmental things going on. There's, looming wars. There's pandemics. There's so much other things going on outside of ourselves that it's really hard to focus on the inner work that needs to be done. And so I get it. And so it's so much easier just to go back into codependent relationships. And that doesn't necessarily even mean relationships with other people. This could be codependent relationships with your food if you're an emotional eater. This can be codependent relationship with working out. Some people cope by staying busy, and they justify it because they're technically improving themselves, but they're also avoiding themselves. So you're just you're covering one problem with another. And it's something, those are even hard to see. It's well, I'm doing the right thing. I'm working out. But yeah, you have underlying anger issues that need to be addressed. So I get it. It's very difficult to do the work to actually leave these loops. And kudos to you all out there who are doing the work. You're doing the doggone thing because you realize that it's do or die. We can't continue on doing the same thing and just praying and wishing that life could be better. Like, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. Like, we are literally like begging the universe, God, the government, our friends, family, to make our lives better, when the power has always been with us, inside of ourselves. You as an individual, the power has always been with you. But we're looking for other people to save us. You know, he's asking, how do I get out of this? How do I walk away for good? Anytime we ask these questions, we're asking ourselves. You know, we may be posing it to people outside of us, but we're really asking ourselves. His soul is crying out, like, how do I get out of this? Can you walk away, please? Can you just walk away? And his inner child and everything inside of him is screaming that at him. But he doesn't know how he doesn't know how to actually go about that. Maybe he doesn't trust that he can be by himself. Maybe he feels that he's not capable. Maybe he just doesn't even know where to start. And all of those things can be very debilitating when you can just go back to what's familiar. You can just go back to what's known to you. So it's definitely a difficult situation. And I hope that he finds solace, but he's not the only one. I know there's a lot of you guys out there, including myself, you know, that have had to go through something similar to this. Do we walk away? Do we stay? What is causing us to stay? It's a red flag when it's not you stay because you love this person. It's a red flag when it's everything else but the love you have for that person that you stay. So, best of luck to you. And we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so this one comes from a user on Reddit. It says, I feel like I keep repeating cycles. It's like I repeat the same negative situations and meet the same horrible people in different bodies. For more details on these situations and people, A, being bullied, B, being betrayed, C, having fake friends, D, being disrespected, E, being thrown under the bus, F, being lied and manipulated, G, being taken advantage of, H, being ignored, I, being left out, J, etc. How can I break this? So in this case, this person moves on from a person to person, but still finds himself in the same situation with a different face. So this is what happens, you know, when we don't break our cycles, when we don't see our own bullshit in it. That's step number 3. When we don't see our own bullshit, or step number 2, I can't remember. Step number 3, step number 2. When we don't see our own bullshit for what it is. So he's blaming all these other people, saying he's being betrayed, has fake friends, being disrespected and thrown under the bus. But he's not seeing where he, you know, contributes to this cycle. And this is the crux of it. This is like, you have to see your bullshit. Because if you constantly see the bullshit of other people, then you'll never get out of the cycle. You're going to constantly say it's other people, that people are just bad people, and you're going to be in a state of powerlessness. Why do I keep attracting these same people? What is happening? Why do people treat me so bad? And you fail to realize that you treated yourself bad first. This is the common case of no self-love. The only way people can disrespect you and lie and manipulate you is that you do not love yourself. And I'm going to break that down even further. Being lied and manipulated to. Your intuition, your gut feeling tells you everything that you need to know. But a lot of times we gaslight ourselves into not believing ourselves the first time. And so it's easy to be lied and manipulated when you constantly ignore your own internal feelings, when you constantly put your power in other people's hands. So stop putting your power in other people's hands. You have to realize that you are a fully functional, capable person. You're the person in question is no better than you, no bigger than you, no, they're not. Take them off the pedestal, basically. Take them off the pedestal. They can be wrong. They can, not have all the information. Take them off the pedestal. They can be wrong. They don't have to have, they may not have all the information. They're not necessarily smarter than you, no matter what you tell yourself. So you're allowing yourself to be lied and manipulated because you want to believe that they know more than you. You want to believe that you aren't capable. And this stems from childhood of wanting to be taken care of, wanting somebody to look out for your best interests. But you give away your power and you stop looking out for your own best interests when you turn into that adult. So this is where the inner child work comes in. You are now the officiator. You are now the adult. You are the one that takes care of your inner world and make sure it's given to and the needs are met, not somebody outside of yourself. So you won't be able to be lied to and manipulated. Somebody might try to lie to you, but you're going to catch that BS very quickly, and you're going to trust yourself enough to be like, red flag, nope. And you'll more likely stand up for yourself because you love yourself. So being taken advantage of, why are you allowing other people to take advantage of you? Or do you think that you're going to get some type of benefit, some type of payoff from it? Do you think that if you overextend yourself that you'll earn love from these people? So you're doing things that, again, is from a place of the lack of self-love. People can't take advantage of you when you love yourself. So there's work to be done there. So being ignored and being left out. So I definitely understand this. I've been in that situation with old friends that I'm now that I'm no longer friends with, feeling like you're being ignored. This, for me personally, came from the angle of I ignored myself and I left out myself. I was trying to be something that I thought they wanted me to be. And this wasn't even like a conscious thought. It was just more so that I felt uncomfortable being myself. I felt uncomfortable speaking my true interests. Like if I wanted to start a conversation, I felt like they wouldn't even be interested in it. So I sat back and became like a fly on the wall, just to be in their space. I wouldn't assert myself. I wouldn't make myself as a dominant personality. And I should have done that. I should have taken control of certain conversations because I am interesting and the things that I am interested in are interesting. But I never believed that. I never believed that my friends would be into the things that I was into. And, your friends don't have to be your, everything. They don't have to be into every single thing that you're into. That's where the beauty of uniqueness comes into play. But your friends should be somewhat open to you bringing up new conversations, things that you've been doing in your quiet moments, things that have sparked your mind. So, they'll be open to listening to it and actually having a conversation with you about it. That's what real friends do. And so if your friends are ignoring you, is because you probably ignored yourself. And you're not taking your interest in the things about you seriously. So how can you expect other people to take you seriously? So you become, like I said, that fly on the wall that just becomes like an afterthought. And I don't necessarily think that the people who then, react in that way and treat you like an afterthought, I don't think that they're necessarily bad people, but you're just not dominant in their mind because you're not dominant in your mind. You have to become your main player. So that is something to look at there, being bullied. He said he was being bullied and being betrayed, you, again, lack of boundaries, lack of standing up for yourself. All of this feeds into the lack of self-worth, the low self-esteem. And that's where the work, because he's asking, how can I break this? And that's where you break it. You break it with self-love. You break it with taking time to get to know yourself and not making yourself a problem. You learn about the things that you learn about, you research the things that you research, and you have interest in hobbies that are yours because that's true to you. And if you feel insecure about those things, or you feel like you want to keep them to yourself instead of sharing it with the people that you care about, then you are the one that holds yourself back. You're the one that perpetuates an energy of I'm not important, I'm not anything. It's easy for you to just disappear. So you have to make yourself a priority, a main character, and other people will treat you as such. So good luck to you. We've all been here before with friendships, as we get to learn to know who we are and trust and accept ourselves. It's all about the inner work, and that's it. So that's probably the last one I'm going to read today, but these questions were very thought-provoking, and something that we've all dealt with. I know you've dealt with it, I've dealt with it, and different variations and extremities is what I wanted to say. I don't even know if that's a word, but yes. So hopefully this was, you took something away from it. Start to break your own cycles. You're worthy of the life that you wanted. You just have to do the work to get it. Nothing is free and nothing is given. You might have a lifeboat given to you, but you got to do the work to get to the boat. You got to do the work to stay on the boat and not jump back into the water because you see a mirage, or something like that. You have to give to yourself, and that is the work, and you have to see yourself as worth it. So breathe that in, because I can even sense there's going to be some resistance there. Breathe that in. Breathe into your stomach that you are worth the work, that it is worth it, and it will be worth it on the other end if you start to take yourself seriously, if you start to love on your inner child and nurture it and give it what it needs in all these different moments. You can overcome, and you will overcome. It's inevitable. So, all right, y'all. If you want me to answer one of your questions, feel free to email me at tribe@mawayatribe.com. I would love to hear from you. Love to answer your questions on the show. If you want to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram at mawayatribe. And you can also check out my YouTube page at Mawaya Tribe for your convenience. And like and subscribe if you're feeling the content. And yeah, connect with me. All right, y'all. Until next time. This was Soul Chat Saturdays. Happy journey.